Hello and welcome to Digital Goulash. My name is Chucky and today we're going to take Photoshop elements and create the Instagram effect, more specifically the 1977 retro effect. Now many of you already have a smartphone and you've already been using this, or you might have already been using Instagram in the new Facebook integration, but I'm going to show you how to do it in Photoshop Elements. So let's go ahead and take a look at my layers palette. As you can see here, I have my original photo. I've got a layer of green that sits on top of it, and then some washed out effects right there, and then a border with a little bit of dirt on it. So let's go ahead and go over here where it says edit and revert. You will not have to do this because I have already done it and I have to revert mine to the original photo. Now as you can see, this is a picture here that I took of Beaufort, South Carolina. The very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go under the Enhance menu, Adjust Color, and then we're going to adjust the color curves. Now on the very bottom left hand side, if you scroll down, you have to see one that says Lighten Shadows right there, and that lightened up the blacks just a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to adjust those blacks up just a little bit more to give it that retro look to it, not a lot of real crisp blacks. And as you can see, the vignette right there is starting to form on our picture. So let's go ahead and select OK. The next thing we need to do is we need to go under our layers palette. We're going to click the little dog ear icon right there, which is a new layer. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go over into our color swatches. Now I have my color swatches down here. You may not have them, so you need to go over to the Windows menu right there, and you need to click on color swatches, and then you'll get the same color swatches that I have here. If you do that, the very second row, scroll all the way over until you get one that is yellow. Pick the light green right next to that pale yellow right there, and that will fill it into your foreground palette right there. The next thing we need to do is we need to fill that layer with that color. So let's go over under the edit and let's go ahead and select fill layer, and then under contents use foreground colors. Yours might say white, so let's go ahead and use foreground colors and select OK, and there we have it. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to change that blending mode over in your layers palette. Change that baby from normal, and let's go ahead and go to darken, and now it's starting to look really nice there. It's looking like that retro effect. Now what we need to do is we need to go and we need to create a new file temporarily. So let's go over here under new file. Let's create a new blank file. Now I just picked one, just 1280 by 720 with a resolution of 72 pixels per inch. Let's go ahead and select OK. Now the reason we're doing that is we need to create that washed out look with the little water streaks and everything in it. And where I found that is underneath the Content tab right there. You should have one that says Effect and one that says Content. If you are not in the full edit mode, you definitely need to get to the full edit mode, and there should be one that says Content. Then what you need to do is select this drop down menu, select the one that says by type right here. Then over here we need to pick one that says backgrounds. Okay, now that we have the drop down box set to backgrounds, what I want you to do is I want you to scroll down. Now it's a ways down there. I want you to scroll down all the way until you see a nice gray one on the left hand column. It should be the very first column. I'm not exactly sure how far down it is, but there it is right there. A nice gray one that looks like it has some watermarks in it. And what I want you to do is grab hold of that and drag it onto our new image that we just created. And as you can see, we have that nice gray with this mottled look to it. Now what we need to do is we need to go under Filter, and we need to go to Adjustments, and we need to choose Gradient Map. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make this almost pure black. So what we need to do is we need to click on that gradient right there. We need to drag this bottom black pointer, we need to drag that to the right until it starts turning kind of a nice black, and you still have some of these watermarks. Now I've got mine set right about here, probably about a quarter of the way over. It is exactly a quarter of the way over with 25%. When you're happy with that, go ahead and select OK and then OK. Now what we need to do is we need to keep that image saved out. Now in your project bin right here, click on the original photo that we were working on, the little Instagram one, and then we're going to drag our new image on top of that. So go ahead and click on it. The border should turn blue, and then drag that on top of our image there. Now it might be a little bit small for your picture, so go ahead and hit Command T. That will give you the little resizing handles. And let's go ahead and resize this so that it covers our image. Now, as a default, it tries to keep it in the correct aspect ratio. So you can go ahead and drag, doesn't really matter, but you can go ahead and drag these center ones up so that your entire image is covered. When you're happy with that, go ahead and hit the Enter or the Return key right there. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go to the blending mode again, and we're going to set this to screen. And what that's going to do is it's going to get rid of all the black on our screen right there. So go ahead and hit screen, and as you can see, we have all these watermarks. Now this is a little bit too much, so let's go into the opacity and let's tune this down just a little bit. Now all of this is to your liking, however much you want to have on your actual photo. So there we go. I've got mine down to about 39% or so right there. Now what we're going to do is we need to create a border here. So we're going to create another new layer, the little dog ear one, right there. Now if you hit a Command or Control A on there, it's going to give you the marching ants, and it will give you the marching ants surrounding your entire photo. And since we have a new layer, we can add a little bit of a white border. So let's go ahead and let's hit Edit, and let's go to Stroke Selection, and I'm going to click on my color, and I'm going to take that, scroll all the way up here, and I'm going to pick a pure white and select OK. Now my picture's pretty large. You're going to have to play around with the width right here, but I've got mine set to 100 pixels, so I'm going to select OK right there. Going to take a few seconds, and then it's going to stroke my image and make it look like it's that old Polaroid effect. Now the next thing we need to do after that is hit Command or Control D. That will get rid of our marching ants. Now this looks really nice. We have all this watermarking that's in here, but the border should also be a little bit marked up as well if you want that retro look. So what we need to do is we need to click on our black layer right here, and then we need to hit the Command J and make a copy of that. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring that one above our stroked or our border layer right there. Now what we need to do is we need to invert this because we want to make this border a little bit dirty. So we're going to hit the Command I, and what that will do is that will give it white with a little bit of gray right here. The last thing that we need to do is we need to change the blending mode on this one, and we need to go to multiply because we want to really see those dirty edges right here. But we don't want to see the dirty edges again on our photo. We already have that from this layer right there. So I'm going to do another shortcut, and that is the Command G. And what that's going to do is it's going to superimpose this just on the areas of the white border. So there we have it right there. The edges are a little bit dirtier. Now if you want to take that opacity down just a little bit more, maybe it's a little bit too dirty for you, go ahead and bring the opacity down to about 20 something. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you that continuation of that watermark on top of your border. So the watermark that's on top of your photo is actually white, and the watermark that's on top of your border is actually a dirty gray. And so there we have it. You can also play around with some of these other images in here under the backgrounds with the different types of water splashing that you have on there. There's a couple good ones that I've used in here that I kind of like, but you can just play around with those and recreate that the part of the tutorial that we created that watermarked image with. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my videos, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and pass my link on to your friends. Cheers!